if you love high-stakes games, crazy mind battles, and life-or-death challenges. Here are 15 best Japanese survival game movies and series that you absolutely need to watch. I'd love for you to be part of the next video recommendation, so let me know what you're into, guys. Without wasting any more time, let's start with number 15. Cube of 2021, a remake of the 1997 cult classic, where strangers wake up in a maze of deadly cubic rooms with no memory of how they got there. They must work together to navigate the traps and find a way out. The film has a 4.5 out of 10 rating. While it doesn't surpass the original, it's still an enjoyable ride. Moving to number 14, Cinderella Game of 2016, about Sana Haitani, an idol whose group disbands, leading to her kidnapping. She and 19 other idols are forced into a deadly competition on a deserted island, where they must fight for survival, with the winner promised fame as the ultimate idol, with 4.8 out of 10 rating. I'm not going to claim this movie is amazing, but I enjoyed it. Now, number 13. Werewolf Game, the movie of 2013 where high schooler Eri Nishina and 9 others are kidnapped and forced into a deadly Jinro game, betting their lives. The film has a 4.9 out of 10 rating. Eri Nishina is not a relatable character. She spends most of her time in an emotional wreck. But her being in such a condition is what allows her to survive for so long. For number 12, Joker Game of 2015, which set during a fictional World War II. The story follows Lieutenant Colonel Yuki, who proposes the creation of a spy training school called D-Kikan. One of its recruits, Kato, is a soldier facing severe punishment for disobeying orders, but is given a second chance through this program. The film has a 5.3 out of 10 rating, a decent plot which keeps you interested. Next up, number 11, King's Game of 2011 with 5.5 out of 10 rating. It's one of those survival horror movies that plays with the idea of a deadly chain message. It starts off as a harmless game. Students receive mysterious texts with simple instructions, and at first, they just laugh it off. But things get serious fast when the messages start demanding more and more, with terrifying consequences for those who refuse to obey. One by one, their classmates disappear, and the survivors are left scrambling to figure out what's going on before it's too late. Moving to number 10. Signal 100 of 2019, where a group of high school students gets caught in a deadly game where they're hypnotized to kill themselves the moment they hear a certain trigger. The worst part? They have no idea what the commands are, so anyone could suddenly drop dead at any moment. This movie has a 5.5 out of 10 rating as well. The tension is insane, and the unpredictability keeps you on edge the whole time. Coming up next, number 9. The Insight Mill of 2010, basically a survival thriller where 10 strangers take on what seems like an easy, high-paying job, only to end up trapped in an underground facility, forced to play a deadly murder game for a whole week. Paranoia kicks in fast, and no one knows who to trust. It has a 5.6 out of 10 rating. It keeps you guessing until the end, with plenty of suspense and unexpected twists. Now, number 8. Tag of 2015, a wild and surreal survival thriller that throws you right into chaos from the start. The story follows a girl who suddenly finds herself in a nightmare where everyone around her meets a brutal fate, and she starts questioning her own reality. With a 6.1 out of 10 rating. If you like unpredictable survival stories with a psychological twist, this one's definitely worth a watch. As for number 7, As the God's Will of 2014, one of those crazy survival game movies that throws you straight into the action. It follows a group of high school students who suddenly find themselves playing deadly games without any clue who's behind it or why it's happening. With a 6.3 out of 10 rating. It's bizarre, intense, and visually stunning. Definitely one of Takashi Miike's most entertaining films. The movie is packed with tension, creative death traps, and over-the-top moments that make it a wild ride. For number 6, Friends Game of 2017, a wild psychological survival game that really puts friendship to the test. The story follows Yuichi, a guy who believes friendship is more important than money, until he and his friends are kidnapped and thrown into the twisted Tomodachi game. To escape, they have to play along, but the game is designed to turn them against each other, with a 6.4 out of 10 rating. This isn't just about survival, it's a psychological war that keeps you guessing who's really on whose side. Moving to number 5. Gantz of 2010, the story kicks off when 2 teens try to save a man on the subway tracks, only to wake up in a strange room with a giant black sphere called Gantz. From there, they're forced into deadly missions hunting down aliens hiding on Earth. With a 6.4 out of 10 rating, the movie has a solid fan base. The action is intense, the visuals are stunning, and the mystery of Gantz keeps you hooked till the end. Now, number 4. Kaiji, The Ultimate Gambler of 2009 throws you into the high-stakes world of survival gambling. It follows Kaiji, a young guy drowning in debt who gets a chance to wipe it all clean. But there's a catch. He has to enter a deadly gambling competition where the stakes are life and death, with a 6.4 out of 10 rating as well. The tension is insane and the mind games are just as thrilling as the physical challenges. Kaiji's struggle is so raw and real, you can't help but root for him. For number 3, Battle Royale of 2000, an absolute classic when it comes to survival game movies. It throws a group of 9th grade students onto an island where they're forced to fight each other to the death under the brutal Battle Royale act. With a solid 7.5 out of 10 rating. It's brutal, thought-provoking, and ahead of its time. The action is raw and the emotional weight hits hard. Easily one of the best in the genre. Next up, number 2, Alice in Borderland from 2020 to 2025, hands down one of the best survival game series out there. Starts with Arisu, a gamer with no real direction in life, into a deserted Tokyo where he and his friends are forced to play high-stakes games to survive. With a strong 7.7 out of 10 rating, it's like Squid Game but with even crazier twists. Alice in Borderland is definitely worth watching, and I personally recommend it. And finally, number 1 on the list, Liar Game from 2007 to 2010, where follows Neo, a ridiculously honest and naive girl who gets thrown into a high-stakes game where deception is the key to survival. She's way too trusting for this kind of thing, but luckily, she teams up with a genius con artist to outsmart the other players. With an 8 out of 10 rating, it's not just about lying, it's a battle of wits that keeps you guessing till the very end. Every round of the game gets more unpredictable and the tension never lets up. And that's the whole list. Which of these survival games is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss more awesome recommendations. Guys, see you in the next one.